Our total amount of funding needed will be about $820,000 for the entire 5 years of starting out as a business. As you can see in our pie chart right here, we have an illustration of how we use our funds. Most of our funding will go to the research and development phase of our application and throughout the whole 5 years, and this is the big orange part right here. After that, that's mostly because the entire application will require extensive efforts in the building of the device and also developing the front loader and top loader models. And this will require about $500,000 of our total budget of $820,000, which is about 2/3 of the total budget. Our next highest expense, which is right here in the blue, is going to be the general and administrative costs, in which we budgeted about $200,000 towards, because it will require a significant amount of capital to run the overhead of the company and also pay any employees that are working for us. The rest of the usage of funds is pretty evenly distributed, going towards equipment, inventory, and then other startup costs. In order to invest in the dynamo, the licensees will have to have an initial license fee of $200,000 that they will have to pay to use our design in any of their projects. After that, they will owe us royalties of 20% of their profits for any units using the dynamo system that they sell. Any company that is licensed to use the dynamo must send in an employee to come to the Extreme Dynamo's headquarters to learn about and become certified in the manufacturing and design process of the dynamo.
This is a chart displaying the financial forecast for 5 years after we first introduced the dynamo to the market. As you can see, the first 4 years will not be profitable, as this is when we will mainly be licensing our products and building up a patent portfolio. By the 5th year, when we start manufacturing our own fully capable machines to developing markets, is when we will start posting profits. The key assumption in our business plan is that we will be operating primarily as an IP-based firm for the first 3 years. In terms of marketing and sales, this means that we will only be marketing to a few key manufacturers, so our costs will be lower in that regard. And once we expand and start our own business in developing markets, we expect these partnerships to aid us in marketing and sales for certain business channels that may get us into the markets quicker. In terms of research and development, complex facilities will not be needed in the first 3 years of development, and we may be able to work from a garage, keeping costs low. And as our revenue grows, we will be using this to spend on creating more facilities with complex equipment capable of producing our own machines. For general and administrative costs, we will also have few employees in the first 3 years, consisting mainly of the engineers who are developing the initial systems. Once we expand again, we will get more employees as the revenue grows and to expand our marketing, sales, and other departments.
For our bottom-up revenue forecast, first we start with us having one sales agent. Our sales agent will be working 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, at 50 weeks a year. So he will then be working 250 days out of the year. You can then approximate that he will be making 15 phone calls per day to actually sell and pitch our product. Assuming a closing rate between 4 and 5%, he will then be able to obtain 190 assignments within that first year. So that calculates out to $250,000 worth of revenue. So with 115 million households, 5 million apartments, 35,000 laundromats, this will then align with our projections to obtain 1% of the market within 5 years.
Alright, so the Extreme Dynamos has based a variety of different types of pricing options based on the assumptions that we have been defined in the market. According to the research that we found, over 150 million households exist within the actual market. Therefore, based on the typical range for a washer and dryer system being between $500 and $2,000, we've negotiated our price down to about $1,300 to be appropriate for the customer. Through that, our actual gross margin for the first year is going to be about 60% that we can secure, and we'll be selling over $40,000 worth of actual product. Within the next year after that, year 2, we'll be getting 70%, as well as the cost of goods will go up to $60,000. From there, our gross margin will increase to 80%, with within year 5 having a $1.5 million market.